Hi and welcome back to the channel. Okay, so today we are gonna be reading all of my Kindle highlights and notes. So I've had my Kindle since the end of June 2023, and so I haven't read that much. I've barely had it for a year, but let's just go through it. I've mostly read books on there that were free at some type of Stuff Your Kindle day. I'll put the pictures of the covers up there. These will be highlights and notes out of context. The chances that I remember what they're about are really small. Some of these have been a year. This video is probably going to be all over the place and chaotic as a fuck because of the fact that I've been filming for an hour. And I'm tired now. I don't know what I'm doing. It's fine. Okay, so first up, The Pact, which is book 1 in the Rebels of Ridgecrest High series by Belle Harper. Okay. The first highlight was at 7% into the book. Yeah, I'm an asshole. Okay. Good to know. At 20% in the book, I highlighted, but I will never kiss and tell. I probably highlighted it because I thought it was cute, because this is a weird ass book. Then also at 20%, I need her more than she shows was my highlight, and then my note was dramatic much. Indeed, dramatic much. That's a little dramatic, isn't it? 20% into the book and you're already telling her that you need her more than she knows. Great, then at 21% in the book, the highlight was not that any day could be considered regular when Mila was wearing a bikini. And my note was, dude, what? What the fuck was that sentence? Let me repeat that to you. Not that any day could be considered regular when Mila was wearing a bikini. And then at 22%, is it because she got her period again and needs my shorts? And my note was, oh, the stupid boy. At 25%, I highlighted the sentence, yeah, boys are so dumb. I'm pretty sure I highlighted it because I thought, yeah, that is correct what you're telling me right there. Boys are indeed dumb most of the time, especially when they're boys and not men. Then at 31%, she's a girl who trusts her brother, has always got her back. Same. And at 42%, all sports, really, I would rather what? Oh, okay, I see. It keeps going because I highlighted into things. The full sentence is all sports really. I would rather be home reading a book. Exactly, that is me in one sentence. Don't let me sport, let me read my book and read about sports. Thank you very much. At 45% in the book, it's like a little thing. I'm pretty sure they were at a party in this scene. Hey, do you have someone I can call? You're either drunk or you've been drugged. We need to get you home. Drunk? I croak out. Bare minimum? It's the bare minimum this guy is doing. But I felt the need to highlight it because... Yeah, 49%, so we're barely halfway through the book. It's dirty and a deep part of me wants her in it, wearing my name and smelling like me. I slip it over her head. And my note is disgusting. Wait. This sentence out of context made absolutely no sense. Whew. Anyway, if I remember correctly, this is after she got drugged and he brought her back to his house because he didn't know who to call. I think we're at that point and her clothes were all puked and stuff. Let me repeat that sentence with a little more context, because without context that sounded extremely weird. Like really fucking weird. I got the giggles now. The highlight. It's dirty and a deep part of me wants her in it, wearing my name and smelling like me. I slip it over her head. I think it's a jersey of some kind, you know, because wearing my name. And then the note is disgusting, get a clean tea or something. Ugh. Yeah. I have a feeling this book had already been disgusting me at that time, and I just felt the need to put it in there. Then at 52%, keep... I can't say it. Keep up my assault on my CLYT. And the note is the fuck. Because that sentence, assault your what? Why? No. That felt wrong. And at 55%, the sentence is, I do pain. And then the note is, what the fuck? At 70%, with you, it's always doomed to fail. Huh? And the note is, girl is really hot then. And then at 75%, I highlighted sweet hugger. It's a nickname. And I said, weird as fuck nicknames, but okay then. At 78%, I highlighted the sentence, it's so Roman, and then the note says, Team Roman all the way. Girl, I didn't even know who Roman is. So yeah, Team Roman all the way, but I don't remember who that is. And then at 85%, yeah, we all do, but I know I have to be the one to give her the most butterflies and orgasms. And my note says, dude, stop with the ego. I have a feeling that character, this is a white choose romance by the way, was really too big on the ego for her. And at 94%, the last thing I highlighted is, I hate Jace Montero. And the note says, honestly, I hate him too. That was the first book. We have Twisted Selection, the first book in the Edgewood Academy Elite series by P.H. Nix. The first thing I highlighted at 6% in the book was a sentence, stupid, elitist, fat phobic fucks. Okay. Then at 10% I highlighted, the peach sitting on her back is biteable. And I said, ew. At 13% I highlighted, like you looking at me weird. It makes me feel like you're thinking about me using those thighs as a scarf around my neck. And my note is, sir, you are at school with a teacher present. What the fuck? I remember this. This book was so weird. Like, it was a weird, like, mafia thing with teenagers-ish. And they were at school and talking about these things while the teacher was present. And I was like, what the fuck's happening right now? Anyway, at 16%, I began my descent in my seat. But before the derriere can find its home. Derriere. Why did they use the word derriere and not but? Weird. Anyway. Then at 17%, I highlighted the sentence, me Tarzan, you Jane vibe. At 17%, I highlighted Miss Taylor, and my note was Taylor Allison Swift. This is not about Taylor Swift, okay guys? It was just the Swiftie being a Swiftie. And at 18%, I swear adults are the wisest dumb people I know. And I said in a note, facts. Let me repeat that sentence. I swear adults are the wisest dumb people I know. Correct. Facts. Then at 22%, I hate these types of girls. They are worse than diet culture, creating body image issues and eating disorders. That's all. Then at 37%, glad to be of assistance. And the note is, honestly, what the fuck am I reading? I was thinking the same thing when I actually had all the context. Great. At 37%, no, at 38%, he strums my clit like an electric guitar. And I said, cringe. What the fuck was that sentence? Yeah. At 38% as well. Shaking my head to the silly notion that Wyatt Grant snuck into my house and made me come in my sleep. And my note is, rape in my opinion, not cool. 40% I highlighted, understatement of the century. I don't know why, but I like that sentence. At 44% I highlighted, just because you have a dick doesn't mean you need to be one. And that are facts. Let me repeat that for the boys in the back. Just because you have a dick doesn't mean you have to be one. At 55% I highlighted the word Swiftie. And my note said, Taylor? At 64% I highlighted, come on Rye, you gotta admit, your life has become hella entertaining. Bitch, I'm Riverdale. So wait, someone says, come on, Rai, you gotta admit, your life has become hella entertaining. And then Rai says, bitch, I'm Riverdale. You know, it's a reference to the series Riverdale. Like, somehow the life of those teenagers got really interesting real fast, and it was weird. So was this book. And at 78%, I highlighted to I Know You Were Trouble. And the note says, Taylor Swift! So yes, there was an actual fully hands there Swift reference. At 48%, good. I'll get straight to it. Trisha Stewart's remains were just delivered outside the main gate. Dismembered like Bethany. She's missing her heart, he explains. His tone cold and detached. And I said, the actual fuck? At 94%, I highlighted, you look like princess. You look like a princess, Raya. And I put a little heart on my note. At 98%, I, Wesley Benjamin Edwidge, select Samantha Rose Davenport. What the fuck? And my note was, what the fuck indeed? At 98%, the sentence I highlighted is, I depend on one thing, me. Good for you. At 99%, I highlighted, I'll do what I've been doing this entire time. I'll fucking survive. That almost feels like a sentence Joey Lynch would say. And at 99%, the very last sentence I highlighted was, that's my fighter. That's a better nickname. Then I read Throttled by Lauren Asher, book 1 in the Dirty Air series. At 4%, I highlighted, people would count these restarts as failures, but I think they build character. Exactly. At 9%, is there a greater pain than mascara on your eye? And in the note, I said, no. No, there's not. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. Then at 14%, I sense parent issues with this one. And I said, no shit, Sherlock. It was very obvious. At 33%, I highlighted, even Noah looked surprised at what came out of his mouth. And the note says, he's in love. Yeah. At 33%, I highlighted, unfucking likely. Noah says the word low enough. Unfucking likely. Noah says the word low enough for only me to hear. At 34%, I highlighted, take care of my little girl. Hidden meaning fills his statement. So, amazing. At 41%, don't think too hard. You'll be stuck battling the what if you do's and the what if you don't. Instead of living in the moment, call me if you need my help again. I'll be around. Let me repeat that. Don't think too hard. You'll be stuck battling the what if you do's and the what if you don't. Instead of living in the moment. Call me if you need my help again. I'll be around. Then at 50%, I highlighted, I'm so curious to hear the different noises she makes during sex. And I put in my note, dude, shut the fuck up. Because he was consistently thinking those things. At 60%, I highlighted, fear is not always a weakness. It's what you do with the fear that shows your true strength. What exactly are you afraid of? This man and his board of inspirational quotes, not giving it my best and feeling. Then at 67%, you know what that means? Someone says, can't say I do. My brain doesn't function in the morning without coffee. My voice strains. No, but tell me. More running of fingers through my hair. Now that you're sober enough to consent, I have a few things in mind. Noah's lips find mine kissing. At 73%, I highlighted someone saying, it's no place for a woman. And I know that, ew indeed. 79%, I highlighted, I leave my past behind at the table of some fancy-ass restaurant. Help, I'm still at the restaurant. Anyway, at 89%, love. One word I didn't understand until Maya. Yeah. And then at 82%, I love you. My voice rasps over the music. And then my note says, oh my goodness, while dancing, yes. At 82%, I love you too. Her voice carries over the sweet. At 82%, he hates every camera except mine. Cute, cute. At 88%, I'm disappointed in you. Those 4 words do Maya in, her eyes leaking fresh tears. Anyway, 95%, Maya, his voice rasps. Yep, keep talking. I love hearing your voice. At 96%, funny how life has a way of working itself out. While he's down on one knee holding a ring box. Then I read The Christmas Project by Maxine Murray. Not that many highlights. Good. At 22%, I highlighted, and if I was honest, also in a sense of being wanted, of belonging, of the love that they filled me with. I knew exactly where I was with these animals. There were no games, no falsehoods, no pretending everything was fine. It was one of the many reasons I loved the time I spent here. I knew exactly where I stood. It's about dogs, by the way. And 35%, Uncle Mikey? Michael smiled at his niece in answer. His mouth full of battered fish. I wish you'd marry Katie. She's nice. That was so cute. At 70%, so in what complicated little scenario would you make me think the worst of you? At 71%, you're not alone anymore, Katie. Cute, cute. At 90%, the last one, I thought I protected myself against all this, and I had when I had been paying attention, but falling for Michael had been gradual, unplanned, unexpected, and now unbearable. That is that. And then, the intern submission, The Complete Duet by Jocelyn Jameson. If you have watched any of my videos about what I've already read this year, obsessed. Let's go. At 18%, I highlighted, he wasn't one thing or the other, he was one thing and the other. At 18%, as one does. At 21%, Mr. Reed would like to tell you that if Mr. Reed would like me to tell you that if you are lost, the cafe is on the ground floor in the lobby. I don't remember anything. 22%. Then breathed deeply to steady myself, but all that deep breathing did was assault me with his sin. And I said, girl be making the same mistake every time. Okay. At 26%, he was a storm, she was a lighthouse. I like that. At 37%, mean. Fine, he called me a volunteer, but sidekicks have capes, so. At 46%, you're the king of control, brother, and this is completely off the fucking rails. 49%, Elder Cabot Reed was everything my Cabot Reed. And note is, I'm sorry, but the same name thing is cringe as fuck. Cabot Reed is both the son's name, the main male character name, the love interest, and his dad's name. Don't do that. At 50%, I highlighted that I could use her, and my note is ew. At 53%, all this time I'd been so convinced it was women who couldn't keep their professional and private life separate. What a fucking fool I was. You were a fucking fool because you did the exact same thing. At 54%, can beat yourself up for doing what's best for you. Let me repeat that. Cannot beat yourself up for doing what's best for you. At 58%, I, for one, vote to be moved forward with a decision we made not even 4 weeks ago. Cabot is ready to run this operation. Turning his attention to my father, he inclined his head. Mr. Reed, with all due respect, sir, your time is up. At 59%, you are the only one who can build your future. And then, you just have to trust your gut and follow your heart. 52%, life is unjust to women. It is. At 76%, pride was a funny thing. Too much and it would be the man's downfall. At 82%, my man's favorite thing. 89%, I sent her a quick text. I'm sorry. This morning has been a shit show. She responded a second later with, learn how to deal with your shit. Indeed. At 92%, these 2 women would always have my back. Then they'd love me through anything, even if they disagreed. And with them in my corner, I finally felt like the pieces of my shattered life were settling back into place. 94%, if the big scary CEO had changed and was nicer now, what would possibly be the cause? Spoiler alert, it's me. Heh. I like that. At 96%, then in front of my eyes, Gabbard released decades of other people's expectations of him, and raw relief in his eyes was a thing of beauty. Anyway, I've reached the last book I've read so far on my Kindle, which is The Deal by Emily. What the fuck am I saying? No, The Deal by Elle Kennedy, the first book in the Off-Campus series. If you are anywhere in the bookish community, you will know this book. Only 4 things. At 15%, feel free to text that sexy face of your entire contact list. Oh, again, feel free to text that sexy face to your entire contact list and inform them I'm driving you home. That way, if you show up dead tomorrow, everyone will know who did it. And if you want, you can keep your finger on the emergency call button the whole time in case you need to call the cops. He heaves out an exasperated breath. Can I please take you home now? And my note is, ugh. At 63%, start preparing dinner for the guy who made me come today. And the note is, not a weird sentence. At all. Yeah. At 65%, her socks, of course, are neon pink. And I said, what do you mean, of course? What do you mean, of course her socks are neon pink? That's not an of course, that's what the fuck her socks neon. Anyway. At 93%, the last thing, you invoked your campus-wide hands-off law. Are you kidding me? I'm not at all remorseful as I meet her eyes. Of course I did. And my note is, okay, this is so cute, but also a little icky. That's it. That were all my notes and highlights as I have for now on my Kindle. I hope you enjoyed this video. I did. I laughed my ass off with this because what the fuck? What kind of weird books have I read on there? I have to finish because my battery is dying. So I need to finish this shit up. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to do a thumbs up. If you didn't, you watched an entire video. You're fine. Hopefully I'll see you next time. Love you. Bye.